I never thought the Olympics would be my destiny. And I remember sitting in an assembly and the conversation was, what do you want to be when you're older? And I sat there thinking, I want to go to the Olympics. But it was so unrealistic. It just did not happen to people like me. And so I remember putting my hand up and saying, I think I want to be a nurse or something like this, you know, just something that I expected to be and would have been really pleased to be. But I've kind of had missed opportunities my entire life. I've never quite believed in myself. I feel like I've now have this maturity to look back and the beauty of hindsight of seeing the opportunities that I've missed. And I just had this one opportunity in front of me. And I didn't think I would make it, but I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to watch the Olympics. I'm going to watch it on TV no matter what, because I didn't think I'm going to make it. But I hated the thought of watching it and knowing I hadn't even tried. I thought I'd rather known I'd given it my all and failed. So I started rowing with a view to making it to the Olympics in 4 years. So our team was assembled and we had this mission to make it onto the Olympic team. And this is after a couple of years of training on my own to get to this point. What it led to was Olympic selection. And it's a really surreal moment because, you know, when I was that little girl that was sat there thinking, it's not me, it doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen to people like me, you know, if I could look back and show her that I'm wearing the kit, I'm doing it, I don't think I would have quite believed it. And I was going to my first Olympic Games. And not only was I going to my first Olympic Games, but I was going there as a favourite to win gold. By that time, that season, we were unbeaten. And there's this sense when you're walking around the Olympic Village, it's really surreal, because I think most people, probably from the press, and maybe picture it as this hugely vibrant, exciting place, and probably is by the end of the 2 weeks when most people are drunk and have finished their competing. But especially at the beginning, you're walking around and you're looking in the eyes of people who are on the cusp of what is going to be the biggest moment of their life. And it was even more aware of it when it came down for breakfast the next morning. And on the front page of every paper was tune in at 11 a.m. to watch our first gold medal. And I was thinking, oh, I wonder who that will be. I turned the page and it was a picture of me and Heather. Our first Olympic Games, we were under that much pressure. I think there was so much expectation just waiting for that first medal. And so, amazingly, the following year, Robin, our coach, got diagnosed with very serious cancer, and he's fine now. He's just been given the all clear. But one of the most emotional moments for me about 2 years ago was I read an article he wrote for a cancer magazine. And it was entitled, Everyone Should Have a Bucket List. And I read it, and the first sentence was, everyone should have a bucket list. In 2012, I completed my top one by coaching 2 girls to an Olympic gold. And I think in that moment, I realised how my dream was so selfish, so personal, so long-lived from when I was tiny. It felt like it was just mine. And in just reading those words, I realised that my achievement, though it wasn't the same for Robin, though he didn't get to stand on the podium, he didn't get to cross the line first, his reaction and reading those words just told me how much it meant to him. And that on its own made my achievement feel even greater. Now, after the winning, it becomes incredibly surreal. So within hours, our faces were on a stamp. We had met Usain Bolt. Our names are trending on Twitter, alongside things that lead to sex, which never happens with rowing. And we were on the front page of every paper. But as quickly as the games had started, they had finished. And I had this huge question of what happens next. I'd suddenly achieved what I wanted to achieve. And the thing that made the answer come a little easier to me was the fact that I'd achieved it, but if I'm honest, I hadn't felt it. From when I was tiny, I had known what it would feel like to win an Olympic gold. I'd known that you'd punch the air, and I'd known that you'd get this rush through your body of whether it's excitement, whether it's enthusiasm, whatever it is. You get this rush, you get this feeling of invincibility. And when I crossed the line in London, honestly, I felt relief. I felt total, utter relief. Boring relief. I just couldn't believe that I had done it. I couldn't call myself Olympic champion for about 6 months. And if I was introduced to a room like this, I would genuinely feel like they were talking about somebody else. I just couldn't own that title. It happened so quickly for me. And so for me, it was just an absolute given that I would go back and I would try to complete another Olympic cycle and win again in Rio.